podcast to talk about his amateur MMA debut taking place next Saturday night at Cage Titans 51 is Brendon Boates out of South Shore Sports Fighting. What's up, my man?
Not much, man. How's it going?
It's going great, man. Other than a snowstorm and a blizzard hitting us tonight and tomorrow, man. But everything else.
At least it's not next week. I'll take it this week. I don't want it next week.
Excellent, my man. Well, dude, congratulations, man. At 44 years old, taking the step into the cage for the first time, man. Let's talk about it. Where did this whole plan come from, man?
I mean, it probably originates mostly from stupidity, but it is what it is. My wife will tell you I've been stupid since forever. So I've always just been a huge fan of the sport. I've loved MMA since, I mean, it sounds insane, but I was, graduating high school in the mid-90s when it started to become popular, initially the UFC and stuff. And I remember watching the first pay-per-view I ever went to when I was, ever watched live when I was like 19 and loved it ever since. And then I told this story last week to Mike, guys. One of my best friends growing up and soccer teammates was Alex Karalexis, and Alex obviously, went on the first season of The Ultimate Fighter, and gained a little bit of notoriety from that. I followed his career locally, obviously, as one of my friends, and then, through watching him watch Joe Lozon, who's actually from the same hometown I am. I don't know Joe personally; he's a little bit younger than me, but he went to high school with my sister-in-law and so forth. And then watching Kenny Florian playing soccer against Kenny too, growing up, so got hooked on the local scene that way. And just, met Bill Mahoney through Alex way back in the day, and that never really trained or anything like that. So my kids started training with Bill a couple of years ago. Was just watching them, and then I said, I need to get in there so they don't beat me up when they get bigger. And then just started training for a little bit. And not a ton of stuff, never with the intention of fighting or anything like that. But and then as I sort of progressed on it, I said, I want to try to do this. And so I talked to Bill about it, and he said, yeah, if you're ready, we think there's an opponent that makes we'll do it. And then this one came along, so now here we are.
Well, how'd this one come along? Because it's kind of, you did the legwork on this. You're the one that went out and seeked out your own opponent, correct?
I did. So Bill and I talked about it, and he was basically just going to put my name into the shows, Cage Titans, NEF, and all the local shows. And we were going to do that, which he was doing, but then we figured, all right, in the interim, I might as well try to find someone and and make a match, because I mean all the shows are great, but my ideal scenario was to fight at Cage Titans because one, it's closer to where I live, and I knew that I'd get more fans and sell more tickets and things like that. So I was happy to go anywhere, but I knew that was the best spot. And Cage Titans for me is one of the better shows in the area. So I started messaging trainers and fighters in the amateur weight classes from 135 to 155 and just asking like, hey, would you be willing to fight me? Because it's kind of a lose-lose if you fight the old guy, right? If you win, like, congratulations, you beat up some senior citizen, but if you lost, then you suck because you just lost to some old guy. So I figured, most people didn't even reply. The majority of them, didn't get back to me, or they asked me a bunch of questions, which I answered, then they never got back to me. But the kid Gage that I'm fighting was the first person to reply, and immediately was like, yeah, I'll do it. I said, okay, cool. I brought it to Bill, and Bill, looked it over and said, sure, fine, that works. So that's how it ended up happening.
Excellent. Well, before we, talk about getting into that cage, no martial arts experience other than when you first jumped onto Bill's mats and stuff, correct?
Yeah, no, I never boxed, kickboxed, wrestled, none of it. Again, just a fan. I mean, I've watched all the sports, obviously, but never did anything. Way back when Alex was fighting, I spent about 2 months just doing some basic stuff with Bill at South Shore. But then I got married, we moved out to Central Mass. I never went back or anything like that. So, I mean, I didn't really learn, all that much in that period of time. And then, 10 or 11 years later, when we moved back down this way, and my kids started going, that's when I started going in. So, yeah, that's the extent of it, just the time I've been there these last couple of years.
Excellent. But you were, an athlete growing up, though, in soccer and other things, correct?
Yeah, so I mean, I played, every sport as a kid, like we all did, but then played soccer all through college. I coach soccer for a living now. So yeah, I've been around athletics and competition forever. So that part of it isn't foreign to me. And that's part of the reason I wanted to do it too. I mean, coaching is great. I love it. And I've coached at, some of the highest levels of youth soccer and, now college soccer in the country. But it's still not the same as competing. You know what I mean? Like being on the sideline, there's only so much you can do. So actually getting in and competing, on my own is something that I've been, itching for 20 something years now.
So as far as the trainer, bro, man, I've been, we're close. We talk on Messenger as far as, a group in New England MMA. But
Yeah.
watching you on social media, man, you're having fun with it, and you make fun of yourself. I mean, it's just not all seriousness, man. It's a whole big experience, and you're treating it as just a great life experience, man. As far as the camp, man, like you say, you haven't won a round yet in sparring. Is it, is it still that way?
Yeah, I mean, I tell people all the time, I'm not doing this because I think I'm some badass or some tough guy or anything like that, or even because I think I'm good, because I'm not. Everyone's like, oh, how's your striking? I say, shit. How's your wrestling? Sucks. How's your grappling? Not good. I'm not ashamed to admit. Now, part of that too is because I train with guys who are legit, right? I mean, I'm not training with bums. So when I say I don't win a round in training, I'm not kidding. I mean, I'm going to beat up Zach DiSabatino. Like, come on, the guy's an 8-2 pro, whatever he is. Like, I'm not beating him up. Johnny Campbell, who's had almost 40 professional fights, I'm not beating Johnny up. So I don't think there's any shame in it. You know what I mean? I said all along, my goal is to be the first person to ever lose every round in training and still win their fight. So that's the plan. You know what I mean? And again, I'm not a shit talker. I'm not like, oh, I'm going to kill this guy, whatever. I mean, that's not my place to do that. I've never even fought. Who the hell am I to say that when I kick someone's ass? But, now if you challenge me to a soccer game, I'd talk all kinds of shit. Or if you challenge me to a fucking spelling bee, I'd whip his ass. But, I can't sit here and say I'm going to kick his ass, blah, 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 whatever. It's not the type of person I am anyway. But now, that said, leaving open the 5% caveat of catastrophic injury, which in my old ass case is quite possible, I'm going to kick his ass. I mean, that's fairly confident. We'll see what happens.
Excellent. I mean, who's gonna be in the corner with you? Controlling what goes on and your emotions there.
Yeah, obviously Bill Mahoney will be there, of course. Legend in New England MMA. Everyone knows Bill. Danielle Heinley, who is kind of the de facto assistant coach at South Shore, and obviously the grappling guru as well. And then Mark Giove, who is obviously a well-known, member of South Shore Sport Fighting, who hasn't fought in a long time, but Mark is not only obviously was a good fighter and an amazing competitor, but I've been friends with Mark for 25 some odd years as well. So there's no way I was doing this without him in there too.
Excellent. Well, you mentioned you got the kids that have, started off in it. What's the wife and the kids think about dad at 44 years old getting in there to, mix it up?
They're on board now. My boys, I feel like they were pretty excited about it right away, even like a little hesitant. My oldest, who's actually, fancies himself a badass, is actually the more sensitive of the two. So he, at first, he was kind of hesitant, like, I'm not going to go, Dad, but now he's definitely going. But my wife was the one I was concerned about telling, because she likes that we do this. She likes that the boys and I bond over it. But, she's my wife, and she's looking at this like, what are you, an idiot? Why you can barely get out of bed? Like, how the hell are you going to fight some guy in a cage, And she's not wrong. I mean, gimping around the house all the time. So I said, look, it's a 9-minute fight. We'll figure it out, But yeah, they're super supportive now. Again, their initial reaction was like, ooh, I don't know. But, after, a brief conversation, was like, all right, we're behind you. Be there. My daughter's not going. I thought she was going to go, but my wife was like, look, she's 8. She's a girl. She doesn't want to go watch that. I said, all right, I understand or whatever. So that's kind of sad, but I do get it, though. I understand why she doesn't want it there, because she'll probably cry.
Well, there's always a stream out there that she can watch later when you get your hand raised.
Right, yeah. I told her we'll record it, right? We'll get the recording, and then you can be happy that Dad won. Or whatever, but yeah, it's probably better if she doesn't see me get punched in the face.
Well, my man, a couple of more questions, man. Is this a one and done deal for you? I mean, the adrenaline rush in there could be something that's overwhelming, and that you need to get again. I mean, is this a one and done as far as what you're thinking in your mind right now?
Yeah, if you ask me now, I would say yes, and I've said that all along. I said, look, I just want to do this one time, say that I did it, whatever, but then everyone hits you with, oh, when you're done, like, it's so awesome, you're going to want to do it again. So I guess I can't say for sure, because I may walk out of there like, oh, this is amazing, I want to try it again. But at the same time, everyone says, oh, but if you lose, you're going to be pissed, and you're going to want to get a win. At that part, the competitor in me thinks that if that's the case, if I were to lose, I'd probably be like, no, I'm not going out like that. I got to do one more. But yeah, if I had to answer a gun to my head right now, yeah, this is probably it. And I've told most people that that this is most likely the one. That's why I told him, I said, look, get your tickets now, because you might not have the chance to watch me potentially get my ass kicked. So that's what I told my former players. I said, I yelled at you for years. You can come watch some guy, punch me in the mouth now.
Well, if you happen not to win this fight, you can challenge a kid in a soccer game or something afterwards. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Well, actually, jokes. So he's much closer in age to my kids, obviously, than he is to me. He's 22. So my 12-year-old wants to fight. So I was joking around and saying, okay, like, we get through this. I might ask him afterwards, like, hey, in 6 years, you want to fight my kid? Like, he's better than me, but it might be, a good challenge. You'll be 28, he'll be 18. You guys can probably get in there and mix it up and be a good story. So we'll see how the fight goes first. We might throw that out there, though.
Excellent, my man. Well, last thing, bro, I know you got a ton of support, great shirts out there, everything going for you, man. Selling a ton of tickets, had to go get more off pole there. So the roof's going to be blowing off the place for you, and it's South Shore too. A plethora of fighters there are always on the card and performing, man. So, dude, shout out anything you want to do. Sponsors, man, I got your banner. I could throw that up at the end of the interview here to give everyone, their props as far as sponsors. But anything you want to say before I let you go and enjoy this final week before you hit that cage?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, I want to thank all of them, all my sponsors. Lindo Realty is the company my wife works for in Abington. Perfectly Flavored Cafe in East Bridgewater. Really good food. That's in my hometown. Deffer Mortgage Group, Reliable Results Realty up in Westford. One of my former soccer parents' moms runs that company. She's awesome. Riley Law Office in Abington. Thompson Waste Removal, Patty Thompson, who's a former South Shore sport fighter as well. That's his company. Who am I forgetting? Obviously, you guys in New England MMA. Forgetting some folks. Who the heck? Without it in front of me, it's tough. But Murphy's Concrete as well. So all those guys, awesome. And obviously, everyone at South Shore. Bill Mahoney goes without saying. Danielle also, and basically everyone there who's ever done anything with me to help me. Coming in as an old guy, most people, you think they can just look at you like, oh, who's this guy? Just leave him over there. But they treat me like anybody else. We joke around, they make fun of me just like they make fun of anybody else. They treat me like one of the guys. So I appreciate all those people. Without them, there's no way in hell I could ever, be ready for this. So they're getting me ready, that's for sure. So hopefully everyone will come out and have a good time. And like you said, blow the roof off the place and it'll be nice and loud. And, I'll give them a good show and come out with a win.
Excellent, my man. Any social media other than Instagram and Facebook?
Say that one more time, sorry.
Any other social media other than Instagram and Facebook?
Oh no, I don't have any of that Snapchat shit. I don't know how any of that stuff even works. I can barely function on Facebook and Instagram. So just find me on there. All my stuff's private too because I'm old and no one gives a shit about pictures of my kids. But if you want to be friends with me, feel free to ask. I usually accept people. So.
Excellent, my man. Well, coming up and after Saturday night, man, people gonna want to check out the 44-year-old in the Cage Titans cage, man. So
yeah. Well, that's why I wore my hat so Travis didn't say I looked like an 80-year-old. I want to be cool. I get my meat grinder hat on for Nick Hatsikis.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, you haven't run around against her. She's the meat grinder. She's a beast, man. And you've been in good hands, man. And man, you're gonna be doing something special next Saturday night, man. So hey, we'll be cage side watching it, bro, and reporting on the reporter.
Hell yeah, that's right.
All right, my man. We'll see you next week, bro, and have a great week leading up to the fight.
Thanks, Steve.
All right.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
All right.